Hey, how's it going everyone out there? This is Jakejames Lugo. Welcome to the channel and welcome to this new JJ's First 20 featuring Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. I've been excited for this for quite some time. This is going to be a little bit different than how I usually do my JJ's First 20 videos because this one I'm just going to do VO with just the gameplay there in all of its 1080p glory so you guys can enjoy. There's a lot to unpack with this game, so let me know your thoughts about Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown in the comments down below, and of course leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel and all that jazz. But let's talk about VF5 Ultimate, okay? That's what I'm going to refer to it mostly at this point because it's a little bit more shorthand, it's a little bit easier to say. But I've been waiting for this for quite some time now. The big thing about this game is that it's still Virtua Fighter 5. It's Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown, but just kind of like tweaked up, given better visuals, a fresh coat of paint, and a couple tweaks here and there. It's not a lot of tweaks, it's not a whole bunch of stuff that makes this a radically different game, but it still makes it at least, different enough for people to dive into there and feel like the game is a little bit more fresher than what it was back in the day. So of course, when I first got the game, I got it off of PlayStation Plus because if you didn't know already, Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown is a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, depending on what console you're playing on. It's exclusive to PlayStation, but it's also offered as a freebie for PlayStation Plus for the month of June 2021. And that's pretty darn cool. So immediately in the morning, I downloaded it and I dived right into arcade mode, which is like the first thing that you should do in order to kind of get like refreshed with what Virtua Fighter really is. It was fun. I played with Akira Yuki, of course. That's my main character that I mostly use in the Virtua Fighter games, even though I've played other characters here and there. The thing that you got to understand if you've never played a Virtua Fighter game is that this game is really tough when it comes to execution. You have to be really on point. It's a very tough game, especially to play competitively, because some of the crazy things that you do see, even though they don't always look as flashy, there's some like real gymnastics that are happening on the controller or the arcade stick, whatever have you that you're playing. So I decided to dive into arcade mode, just kind of refresh myself with the game, play with Akira and go through the arcade mode, and I was having a blast, to be honest with you. The one thing I will say is that the visual overhaul of this game looks fantastic in motion. It looks awesome. If you didn't know, this game is using the same engine that the Yakuza series uses, which is a lot of the Yakuza games that you see from SEGA, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, the Ryuga Gotoken engine. It's the same one that you see recently from Yakuza Like a Dragon and Yakuza 6. And it really does a nice job with the visuals of all the characters, the backgrounds, and everything else, the little special effects, which, for whatever reason, a lot of people made a big deal of before this game came out, and it didn't really bother me, to be honest with you. It wasn't something that was, like, all up in my face. It wasn't distracting like that. Some people say that some of the visual effects are very similar to Tekken, and they're a little bit out of place in a game like Virtua Fighter, but I disagree. I didn't think that it was that bad. If anything, it actually complemented and accented all the stuff that was happening on my screen. So anyway, what about the gameplay itself as far as, anything different or anything like radically like, unique for Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown? There really isn't much here. I did go through the arcade mode with Akira, and I also did go into training with Jackie just to see how it was, and it's very similar to Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown on the PlayStation 3. Not much different there. And then of course, I had to go online and play against people, so I didn't do a lot of matches, because believe it or not, I'm going to do a separate video which just features online matches of me, just how I usually do, just me on camera playing the games like that, and I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun. You should see that on the channel very soon. But with the ones that I did play, which some of the footage you're going to be seeing now, as well as also stuff that I played offline, or at least away from the camera, it was just interesting. I mean, the funny thing is that this has delayed based netcode, and it just, you could feel it when things are like heavily delayed because you feel like you're fighting underwater, and like the inputs just like they take like a second or two to really go in. And I know it's not just me, because some of the other players that I got matched up with, they felt like, they were just trying to do their own stuff. They're playing characters like Brad, playing characters like Kage, and a few others that are very execution heavy and require a lot of button presses. And you could tell like they're like fumbling all over the place trying to get used to the timing of the online multiplayer. And luckily for me, it worked out in my favor, because there isn't a lot of crazy inputs that you need for Akira, even though there is some like on-point execution that you do need in order to do certain stuff. But it wasn't that bad to the point where I couldn't figure myself out, and I couldn't get control of the matches that I was getting into. and I did having some fun. So the only problem is that because of the delay-based netcode, because of like, you know, some of the rocky connections you'll probably run into online. There's a lot of players on here, but like still keep in mind, like depending on where they are in the world, you're gonna feel the ramifications of that. So hopefully you're on a wired connection, or even if you're on a Wi-Fi connection, you have a decent, good, ISP in order to work with you here, in order to make sure that the matches are good. So I did play, I want to say maybe about 5 or so matches online and offline, online specifically, that I went into the matchmaking, which is the ranked matches, and then I went into lurking for the lobbies. And again, it was the same thing all around. I did rank up a little bit with Akira, which was pretty cool, but outside of that, there really isn't much different from the previous Virtua Fighter 5 version. I did notice a few other things that I should mention, especially if you're getting this on PlayStation Plus. I did not see the customization stuff, which I thought was a little bit weird. That could be something different that they're probably like updating or changing up for all the people that do get it on PlayStation Plus. You can purchase the extra DLC, which features all the original outfits, a whole bunch of like, you know, customization stuff for your characters, as well as also the original soundtracks from all the different Virtua Fighter games, which I thought was kind of cool. It's about $9.99 on the PlayStation Network. I'm thinking about maybe picking it up like very soon, just so I could have it, because I love some of the music of Virtua Fighter and I love some of the customization options you could do for different characters. But do you really need it? Not really. It's not something that you necessarily need. Maybe they'll input like some other like customization options for the different characters so you don't have to get that DLC pack, or maybe not. I'm not sure. Again, there really isn't like, you know, any sort of like clear-cut nature of like what they're doing with it. But outside of that, the only other thing I should mention is that the tournament play, or at least the tournament matches, I didn't have access to. I don't know if that's part of the DLC, or if that was something that was updating, or if that was something that was like being prepared currently, but I'm playing this on launch day on June 1st, 2021, and that's at least, you know, my experience currently right now at the moment. So I was only able to play the online matches for the matchmaking for ranked, the online matches for the lobbies, offline arcade mode, and then I did have access to offline like multiplayer, but again, I didn't have a second controller to plug in and play with someone, especially early here in the morning when I'm actually playing it. And then outside of that, there's really nothing else really to dive into. So what I am going to do, like I mentioned before, I'm going to do some online multiplayer matches. That's going to be a totally separate video, but this at least, you know, hopefully gives you my first initial impressions and my first initial gameplay of Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. Of course, like I said before, let me know in the comment section down below some of your favorite stuff about Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate if you've got a chance to play it yet. I know there was a bunch of people that had it early that were doing previews and stuff, and I did see some things with like the leaderboards and such. It was just weird how just seeing like some people go online, they're already got like 250 plus matches playing with some of their characters. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like how long did these people have in advance to play this game? At least, you know, from the different people that I know, you know, that are in the industry, there wasn't a lot that was at least on that level, or at least, you know, crazy Virtua Fighter like pros that I didn't know about. But either way, okay, talk to me about the game. Let me know some of your favorite Virtua Fighter characters. You know, if you guys are big Akira fans, or are you big Pi fans, Vanessa fans, Sarah, El Blaze, it doesn't matter who it is. Talk to me about that stuff down below in the comment section. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel as always for more videos like this. I'm working on other video reviews that are coming very soon, including Doom Eternal and some other surprises I know you guys are going to love. With that being said, I will talk to all of you again very soon.